Hi, so this is a fabric that I'll be using for this dress. It's actually a crepe fabric and I have 2.5 yards here. So let's get into the video. So guys, I've gone ahead to draw my lines. So this is the shoulder line now. And on this shoulder line, I'm going to measure my shoulder measurements here. So this is my shoulder, 7 inches. The shoulder divided by 2 is 7 inches. I will take my neck width, which is 3 inches here. From that 7 inches mark, I'm going to come down by 1 inch so we can have our shoulder slope. From this 1 inch mark, I'm going to slant it into the neck width of 3 inches that we marked earlier, like this. So guys, when I'm done, I'm going to get my ruler and I'll use it to measure down 7 inches. Now 7 inches is my armhole depth. So this is it here, 7 inches right here. And I'm going to rule the lines here like this. When I'm done ruling the lines, I'm going to extend this one down on a straight line. Just roll it down to meet that 7 inches line that we drew earlier. So this is it. So this new line now that we drew is now my chest line. So from this 7 inches here, I'm going to mark the middle. So divide it by 2. Whatever you have as your armhole depth, divide by 2 and go in by half an inch, just the way I'm doing like this. Make a point there. So now on this line, which is now my chest line, I'm going to extend this line now. So this is my chest line and the line under it is my bust line. So my shoulder to my bust line is 9 inches. My shoulder to my under bust is 11.5. So on this line now, I'm going to measure my bust measurement divided by 4 and I will mark it there on the chest line. When I'm done marking, I'm going to connect this point, and this point together so we can have our armhole curve. So I'll just connect it like this and I'll connect the down part as well, just like this. So this is it, guys. So now I want this dress to be an eye neck rather, so I will be marking 3 inches for it. So I want it to be an eye neck gown, so I'll mark 3 inches and I'll connect it to the neck width like this. So guys, this is it. So this is my chest line, this is my bust line, under bust line, and the last is actually my waist line here. So this is my waistline here. So my shoulder to my waistline is 15 inches, but I wanted to mark 16. So I'll mark my bust span measurement on my bust line. I'll take it under my under bust and on my waistline as well. So go ahead and mark your bust span, also known as nipple to nipple measurements, on your bust line, your under bust, and on your waistline. Then I'll connect it together like this using my ruler on a straight line. I'm going to connect it like this. When I'm done connecting it now, I will come over to my waistline here and I will mark half an inch on both sides. So go ahead and mark half an inch on both sides on your waistline. Then I'm going to connect this half an inch that I took on both sides into the bust span measurement like this. So now we're trying to create our dart measurement. So this is our dart. We're trying to create our dart. So just connect it like this. And I'll do the same for the other side as well. So this is it. Then on this shoulder line, I will place my tape like this and I will measure what I have here on my shoulder. And I'll be dividing what I got by 2. So place your tape into 2 like this. Just fold it over and make a point there like this. So I'll connect this now to meet the bust line. So now we're trying to create our shoulder dart. So I'll connect it to meet the bust point. Just place your ruler and rule on a straight line like this. So guys, this is it. Now on this under bust, I'm going to go out by 1/4 inch on both sides from the dart leg. Come out by 1/4 inch, then rule it into the dart that we got at the waistline, just the way I'm doing it like this. Do the same thing for the other side as well. Just rule it into the dart leg at the waistline. At the under bust, come out by 1/4 inch on the waist, on the dart leg, and roll it into the waistline. Then I'm going to connect this point to make the bust line using my curved rule on both sides. So this is it. Just give it a little curve like this, and I'll do the same thing for the other side as well, like this. So this is it. And on this side, I'm going to measure 1/2 inch on both sides. 1/2 inch on both sides. Please guys, if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly subscribe to this channel, like, and turn on your notification bell. So now I'm going to connect this into the bust point like this. Can you see what I'm doing? So just connect it like this and do the same for the other side as well. So guys, this is it here. So we've achieved our, this is little bustier. So this is it right here. So now I'm going to place my body measurement. So on my chest line, I'll measure my bust measurement divided by 4, and I will mark it here on the bust, and I'll measure what I have here, which is 1 inches. I'm going to replace it. Now if you don't replace it, it's going to be short at the end of the day. On the bust line, I will measure my bust measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to mark it there. I'll come over to the under bust line and I'll measure my under bust divided by 4, and I'll make a point there. I'll just mark it here. I'll measure what I have at the dots as the dots there, and I'm going to replace it. I'll do the same thing for the waistline. My waist measurement divided by 4, I will mark it there. I'll measure what I have for the dots. I'll replace it back. So this is now my actual measurements. These are my actual measurements now. These are my actual measurements. So now I want to add our seam allowance to this. Now I'm going to be adding 1.5 inch seam allowance to this. Now if you can add 1 inch as well, if you can work with it. So I'll be using 1.5 inch as my seam allowance. So I'll measure 1.5 inch all around. So this is it. Hi guys, please kindly subscribe to my channel, turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video. And these parts, we're going to be cutting it off. Cut these parts off. So I'm going to use my ruler now, just rule out the sides. So this is it here. So this is all for the front pattern. So this is all for the front part. I'm going to cut this out. Now you can also use this front to cut out the back, but when I'm done cutting this out, we're going to be drafting the back pattern for this dress. And please guys, don't forget to share my channel with your friends. Those you feel will be interested, kindly share with them. If you have any questions, kindly leave them in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them. So this is it. And this upper part will serve as our yoke for this dress. So this is it here. So this is the upper part of the dress. So next we're going to be cutting out the Basque effect at the down that we have at the down. So this is the upper side. So this is the yoke, and we have the center front and the side front there. So this is the center front, this is the side front. So now we're going to be drafting out the Basque effect that we have at the down where we'll be pleating our gathers on. So let's quickly do that. So guys, I have this piece of paper here that we will use to draft out the down part, the Basque effect of this gown. So to do that, I'll place my tape on the waistline and I'll measure down to my hip measurement. My hip, from my waist to my hip is 9 inches. I'm going to mark that here. I'll do the same thing. Just mark it out. I want to have a straight line. That's why I want to mark it here as well. When I'm done, I'll just use my ruler and I'll rule a straight line across it like this. When I'm done ruling, I'll place my tape on the waistline, which is this upper part, and I'll measure my waist measurement divided by 4, and I'll make a point there. I'll come over to this down part, which is serving as my hip measurement. I'll measure my hip divided by 4. I'll make a point there. And then I'm going to be adding 1.5-inch stitching allowance to it. Then I'll add 1.5-inch stitching allowance to the waistline as well. Remember, we added 1.5-inch stitching allowance to the upper part. I'll connect these lines together now. So this is it here. So now on this side of the waist, from the waist side, I'll go down by 5 inches. You can go up by 4 inches if you want, but I'll go down by 5 inches here, and I'll connect it to meet the. Okay guys, so I decided to go up by 4 inches because I discovered that the 5 inches wasn't giving me the curve that I needed. So I went by 4 inches and I'll connect it like this because I want this back effect to be curvy. I don't want that V shape that we normally have. So I want this to have that curve at the front of it. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here. When I'm done, I'll cut this out. So this is it here. Just cut this out. So this is it. So this is our curved back effect, as you can see. So this is how it's going to be looking instead of that V shape. But if you want yours to be V, what you have to do is just to connect from that 4 inches, create like a V to the other side. So this is it. This is how it's going to be looking at the end. So let's cut out the back now. So guys, I've gone ahead to draw my lines. As you can see, this is my chest line, my bust line, my underbust, and my waistline here. So now from this shoulder line, I went in by 7 inches. So now I'm going to mark my 3 inches for my neck depth here. And I've gone down by 1 inch on the shoulder already to have a slope. So I'll just connect it to that 1 inch point like this. Next, I'm going to connect the shoulder slope to meet the chest line, which is 7 inches already. Just the same thing we did for the front is what we're actually doing for the back. The difference is the front back is not going to be having those curves that we had in front. So now I'm going to measure my bust measurement divided by 4 on my chest line, and I'll mark it there. When I'm done, I'll create my armhole curve. Now for the front, we went in by half an inch at the middle, but for this back, we'll just curve it like this. Next, I'll be measuring my neck depth as 1.5 inches. Like I said, I want this dress to be an high neck dress. So this is it here, 1.5 inches, and I'll connect it. Just give it a nice curve. You can use your hand as well, your free hand as well. So now on the waistline, I will mark my bust span measurement, also known as your nipple to nipple measurement, and I will mark mine here. I will go in and out by half an inch on both sides, the same way we did for the front. And I'll come to the chest line and I'll measure the same thing. My bust span measurement, I'll mark it here. Then I'm going to connect those half an inch we took by the sides. First of all, let me do this my straight line. This is my bust span measurement here. Next, I'll connect this half an inch that we took to meet it. So this is now our dart for the back. So this is our dart here, half an inch on both sides. So this is our dart right here. Now when I'm done, I'm going to take all my body measurements. On my bust line, I'll measure my bust measurement divided by 4. I'll mark it here and I'll place my 1.5 inch stitching allowance to it. On my underbust, I'll do the same thing. My underbust measurement divided by 4, I'll mark it here and I'll replace this dart here and I'll add my seam allowance. On the waistline, I'm going to be doing the same thing. My waist measurement divided by 4. I will replace the 1 inch dart that we took and add my seam allowance to it. So this is all for the drafting of the back pattern. As you can see, it's very easy to do. I'll just root those lines across. So guys, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. So if you want this dress to have a zipper, all you have to do is at this side, just leave your zipper of 1 inch or 1.5 inches. But this fabric is actually very stretchy, so I will not be needing a zipper for it. That's why I did not add a zipper allowance to it. So I'll cut this out. So if you want yours to have a zipper, please go ahead and leave your zipper allowance at this at the beginning of this other side of the fabric before drafting. So this is it now. So now I'm going to cover this. Now I don't want to sew like the darts on the fabric, so I'm going to be removing the darts. So just take one part of your dart leg and try and fold it this way. So by so doing, when we are placing this on our fabric to cut out, we eliminate that dart. So there is no need for us to stitch the darts when we are sewing it. So this is what I'm trying to do now. So when I'm done placing like this, I'm going to use my masking tape and I'll just tape this down. First of all, let me use my pins to hold it so you know, have an idea of what I'm trying to say. So this is how it's going to be looking. So this is how I'm going to be cutting it on my fabric like this. So this tutorial is actually the drafting tutorial. In my next tutorial, we're going to be sewing this dress.